I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up here in the UK. Thank you for joining me. This is what we are making today. So what is this? It's a real bit of a wow. It is a pyramid album, sometimes called a maze album. They've been around for a long while. I've made different ones before, just rectangle. I will show you an example of one in a moment. As soon as I saw the countryside indies from Stampin' Up, it just shouted at me, pyramid album, make me. So this is what I am going to show you how to make. I'm going to show you different variations of it. Basically you die cut out each size and then it opens up into something else inside. So you layer it up, you just cut them out. I'll show you how to make the little booklets. I've decorated mine with some Memory and More cards and the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. This is going to go for somebody special, for a birthday. I've used the Tailor made tags dies, which I will show you in a minute, just to add some detail. Using the Memory and More cards is really good because it's already got lots of sayings and phrases on it. I've made little pockets, used the stickers in the sets, all sorts of things. You can decorate it yourself to whatever your needs are. But how beautiful is that? And it just comes together so easily. So let me show you that the original one that I made was this one. Oh, quite a few years ago, just rectangle, and you can do something like this as well to have different pages that come off of it, all sorts of pockets and things, but you can see it can be really useful for all sorts of things. I think this was for an anniversary gift. What else did I share on the pocket? So yeah, loads and loads of things you can do with it. But like I say, the countryside indies were just something that just shouted at me that it needed to be made into something. So you're going to use, what else are we going to use? I was going to show you. So the Memories and More cards are in the catalogue. So in the Stampin' Up catalogue, quite often they just get missed, but they're perfect for quick makes, for cards and all sorts. So page 135, there's this little pack here. They do show you it a little bigger here, and it's for scrapbooking or memory making albums, but you can use them for anything, and you actually get 50 double-sided cards. So it's a real sort of cheats way of making something really quickly. And like I say, because it's got lots of phrases on them and 2 of each one, it's really helpful because it's already job done. So they come in this size, and you can see there's a few different ones there. Oh, happy day, cheers to you. This one you could see when I did that one on mine, I cut it out. Which one did I use that on? I just die cut it out of that one. So I didn't use the whole thing, just die cut part of it. So that's what I mean about you can use them for everything. That one there, I used one of the Tailor made tags. So these are really useful if you're trying to get the most value out of your stash. These are definitely a good buy. They're not stored very well, as you can see, because I use them so much. But you get 4 different sizes. They layer up so you can mount them on top of each other. One set has got this sort of straight edge there, and one has got this shaped edge, but you get really teeny tiny ones, and they gradually get bigger and bigger and bigger. Let me put that one on there, and then you can see. So there's like the 4 sides, and this one here, and you get these little bits to make them look really professional. So I've used them in lots of my makes. There, look, doesn't that look lovely, just in that nice pecan colour? So that is what I used for the insides, just to jazz it up on the inside as much as the outside. Let's move those out the way so you don't see those. And then the stickers from the Memory and More, you can see I've used lots of stickers, but they're really handy as well. So there's that, and then the other size is a big 4x6, so perfect for scrapbooking and mounting and all sorts. And then the paper that I used is the 6x6, I think you get 48 sheets, double-sided. Just look at the colours, they're amazing. So perfect for this lovely project. So that's enough about that. Let me show you how to make it, because that's the bit we're all here for. So I'll refer back to it throughout, because I'm going to show you a couple of versions of how to make it. If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe. I try and do a new one every week. I love to share ideas and inspiration for your paper crafting projects, and I try and keep them fairly simple. I always use Stampin'Up products because I just absolutely love them, and I'm a Stampin'Up demonstrator, so it'd be crazy not to. And I try and share some tips along the way so that you get the best value from what you've brought. So let's get crafting. So I looked at my papers, okay, there, and thought, okay, let's pick a colour out of those. You get a card in with your papers and it will say what colours are in the pack, or you can look in the catalogue and it will say. And I've picked this colour. So this is Lost Lagoon, which is not a colour that I've used for a while. So I thought that would be a nice base colour instead of using white, because I'll show you when I did the layers, it was quite tricky to get them just exactly the same size. I will show you how to do it. But for this one, I'm just going to do one colour one. So you need 6 pieces of card, okay? You're going to cut it into 6 pieces. Now I've written the cut sizes down here, and I'm going to leave it there while I waffle to you a little bit. It's in centimetres. I have got it in inches as well, and what I'm going to do is put it in the description, and then you can get all the sizes in one go. So basically you need 6 pieces. The first one is 9.5 by 26 centimetres, so it ends up looking this sort of size, okay? And then what you do is you cut that out, and then we're going to score it in half. The next one is 8 centimetres by 23. Can you see what's happening? It's layering up already. The next one is 6.5 by 21. Hopefully you can see that because of the white. You've got 3 pieces now. The next one is 5 centimetres by 18 centimetres. And then 4 centimetres by 15 centimetres. And 2.5 centimetres by 12. Now, how to get them out of one sheet of paper? If you have got 12 by 12 paper, it is possible to get them all out of one sheet. Just be careful how you cut. If you are using A4, it's easy again. What you do is you would cut these two, the first 2 biggest sizes, out of this sheet, and then you would cut these 3 sizes out of the next sheet. So you would just cut your strips like that, and then you would use that. So that's how you would do it. You see, you definitely need 2 sheets of A4, but you will get loads of bits and pieces left over to use for the inside. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do the biggest one to start with. Okay, so if I bring that die in, we are going to concentrate on the biggest die at the moment. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to trim my paper so that I end up with the biggest piece, which was 9.5 centimetres by 26. So I've got my paper, and in order for me to get the 26 centimetres, I'm going to put the shorter end along the top where my cutting line is, and my ruler, and I'm going to put it at 9.5 centimetres, and I'm just going to cut down the whole length. So 9.5 centimetres. Put that to one side because we need to cut the next size with that. Turn it so the long side is at the top. Put my arm out and cut this at 26 centimetres. Okay, So we're cutting at this moment in time. So you get that little bit left over you can use for the inside. So you're left with a piece like that, 9.5 centimetres by 26 centimetres. Now, in order for us to get the folded book effect, we need to score this at half. So at 13 centimetres, we're going to do a score line because that's half of 26. Okay, so let me move this cutting blade out the way. So we've got our rectangle of card, we've scored it in half, and now we've got that first little book. So this is the base bit of here, but we need this shape. So we're going to take the biggest die, okay, this big die, and we're going to lay it down, and then what we're going to do is make sure that one edge where the fold is, okay, there, overhangs just over the edge. So if I turn it over now, you can see that where the die would cut, the sharp piece there, that's overhanging, okay, and I'm going to die cut it so it's like that through the die cutting machine. Now I'm going to try and do this on camera so that you can see, which might fail miserably or might work. Let's give it a go. So I've got my cut and emboss machine. I need my platform and my plates. So just do it as you would normally die cut. Now sometimes this doesn't fold flat enough, so just score it a few times with your bone folder or everything to make it quite flat. So you can place those in. Yeah, I didn't know that you'd be able to see this. Let's have a look. So you're placing it in, making sure it's overhanging. Okay. Then putting your other plate on the top. And then we're going to put it through. Let's see if we can do that now. So just wind it through. Okay. So a little prayer to the crafting fairy. Okay, let's have a look. Put that there. Let's move these out the way. Okay. So now when you take that off, one end is open and one end is still there, so it's like a little book. So get rid of that bit, and that's your first one done. So the biggest one is done, ready to go. Now you repeat that with each of these folds. So put that one back, do the next one. The next one would be 8 centimetres by 23, and then you fold it in half at 11.5. And you keep doing that all the way down until you've got a little stack of these little books. So you've got that one, then you've got this one. So you end up with 6 little book cards, just like that, okay? Now you can see straight away that rather pleasingly, they fit exactly inside each other. So if you're happy with that, you can just go ahead and stick the back of each one to the next one, and you would just have a really lovely album that's all in the colour choice that you want. If you want to do what I did, which is I wanted, because I did it in white, really, I didn't think about it. I did it in white, and then I thought, oh, now I won't be able to see what colours. I really want it to pop off the page, so I need to do a layer in between. So what you need to do, let's start on the big one again. So we could die cut the next size out of a different piece of paper. Say we took this one, we could die cut that, and that will sit in there, okay, really nicely. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm not going to die cut on paper again, camera again, but I will just die cut this. So I've now cut the next size down and I can stick that on and that will look really nice. But if I want to stick the next album on the top, it's going to completely hide it. Okay, so there wasn't much point doing that, it's not going to show. If, however, I want to have a border, okay, so this is exactly the same as the next one, but I want a border in between. So I take this one and I need to trim every single edge. So it's a bit tedious, but it's worth it. So what size would you trim off? Well, the first time I did it, I did just to this line here. So I went to there, used that as my guide, and then I trimmed off. Now put your cutter in the middle of the paper to trim. Oh, it's got caught up, because otherwise what happens is you end up with a blunt edge. So that's the paper that I trimmed off to start with. Very, very narrow little piece. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is the piece that we're trying to do a border on. So can you see it's ever such a fine border? So if I put the next one on, you can see the Lost Lagoon underneath, but not really enough. So if I trim it a bit more, so this time I went to the first little line, which is probably about 3 millimeters. Might even be, if I do 4 millimeters, because it's easier to see. So this is a bit more tricky. I don't want to do half because that's too much, but if I do 4 millimeters, so that's quite a bit off. So this time when I put it on, okay, you can see there's quite a lot of that. That might actually be too much. No, it leaves a nice border round. So if I carried on doing that on each side, so I just went round and trimmed each edge. Let's keep going. Like so. And remember there's 8 sides, so remember to do all of them. I think I've got 2 more to do. So I started off on a long side. Okay, and one more. Okay, does that look about right? Let's have a look. So now if I put that on there, okay, that gives me a nice front on my booklet. And then if I put the next one on top, it frames it as well. So now if I did the same with the next one, I would have some paper behind that one, and then that's how you get a nice border around each one. You need to cut the same size as it is, but then trim that before you layer it on. I hope that makes sense, because I feel like I'm making it much more complicated than it needs to be. If you don't want to do any of that, just do what I'm going to do now, which is just stick them. There's my glue. Just going to stick them straight on. Now, usually what I would do is decorate each one first, but just for quickness, just for on here today, I'm just going to stick them back all on so you can see. Okay, so this one, this is the biggest. This is the next size. I'm just trying to get it in the middle, like so, and that's the next one. So I've now got one that opens there, and then one that opens there. And then this is the next size. Make sure you've got the openings all the same side. because that can get confusing. Which side does your special album or card open? So there's that one. Okay, then this one. Let's make sure we've got the opening the right way. So I'm thinking that this could be a really good make for a special anniversary, a new baby, a little book. You could add some photos to this, a little journal of a holiday, all sorts of things really, a little memory keepsake of something that's happened, somewhere that everybody could write a little note to the recipient, because there's more room in it than a normal card. And if I show you again what I did on the other album on each page, then you will see. So although that looks fairly plain, I actually quite like it because you can see there's something a bit more to it than what there is. So that page opens, then that page opens, then this page. I'm just going to go through and decorate each page now. Okay, and then the last one. So basically that's it. That is your pyramid album done. Let me bring this one back in so I can show you again, run through quickly what I did. So the front, when I was trying to cut out this pink layer, the bubble bath layer, I just couldn't get it right because it was so tiny. So I used this die from one of the other sets because it's very similar to the one that's already there that you get, but this one was just really, really tiny. And I've used that on the front. And then nothing on the inside, so there's nothing on there. I'll probably just put the recipient's name in there, or a really nice word or something. And then the next page, what I've done is cut one of these out in the designer series paper and just stuck it inside. And then inside the back cover, I've done another tag out of the set of 4 that I've got, and I'm just gonna write something on there. So that's the first page. The next page, I used the Memory and More's. I just die cut out of that, just made sure it was straight, stuck it on there and just trimmed it ever such a little bit, because remember that you overhung the dies on one side, so it's ever so slightly smaller. Die cut this from one of the cards. So I found one that had got a saying on that I liked, and just die cut one of the tags. So just got one of those tags and just die cut it out. Okay, just from there like that. I mean, obviously that one doesn't fit, so that wasn't a very good example. But say you wanted to do this Let's Party one, that will probably fit that one really well. So that will fit really good. I might use that on the front. Okay, so that's that one. The next one, I did the same there. So that is a bigger card that I'd die cut out with one of the Countryside in dies. Just done that there. And then this, so this is one of these folded over ones, but I've just done kept it over on the edge. So when you let me do it with a piece of paper. So when your paper is like that, that's not a good way to show you. Let's do it with one of these pieces of paper. So you've got your designer series paper, fold it in half that way, and then when you die cut, make sure that the edge that you want to be closed overhangs. So on this one, if I overhung it that way, this 3 sides would be open, but this would be like the bookend. Okay, if you want it to be that way, you would overhang that side. So just have a think about how you're die cutting before you do it. And then I've used 3 tailor-made tags just on there that I can put some journaling on. And the next one is just that shape inside, and I've done the same here. So I've done exactly the same shape in the same paper, but cut one of them in half and just turned that into a little pocket. So So added some stickers, job done. And the very last page, I've just used one of these Memory and More cards, but I've chopped off each corner, just as you can see there, so it fits in, just to give a different shape. I've added this big sticker from the Memory and More cards and some other balloons, and then I've made a little pocket here because this is somewhere that you can put a nice big personal message. And that is my album done. Super, super quick and easy. Not too tricky at all, unless you're doing the layers. That obviously makes it fatter. You could probably get away with this in a normal envelope, depending on how thick the insides were. Whereas this is quite a bit thicker. Can you see? So decide how you want to do and really just have a play. There's so much you can do with the dies from Stampin' Up, especially ones that layer. So just have a look at things in a different way. If you've got any questions, just get in touch. I love to chat all things crafty, and please do send me a picture of whatever you make. Thanks for watching. Happy crafting!